Hey guys, good morning. It is time for coffee, time for tanks, time for coffee talk. I am Guido and you are whoever you are. I need a better I need a better intro. I need a clever intro, like the old time news guys had. What I can't remember what some of them are. Like didn't Murrow have some like just catchy starting phrase, that I'm somebody and this is your world, or I don't know, you know what I mean? I need something like that. Give me some options down there in the comments. Let me know how should I open this up instead of just I know it's kind of been all over the place. Usually good morning, or I have coffee. This is Sunday. These are tanks. This is coffee time. Yeah, kind of weak. I don't like it. I don't like it. I need something catchy. You know what I mean? In any event, I do have coffee, and holy cow, have we had a eventful? Have we not had an eventful week in World of Tanks? Who's pretty stoked with how things have gone down this week? We're gonna talk about some of that. Oh man, this is what I live for. Actually, not other people's pain. I don't. I would rather it wasn't a problem, but just the commentary on the running scene. That just serving up softballs. That's all good stuff. But what is the ultimate background of what I'm calling the troubles? I have no idea. I really don't. I might speculate later on, but I don't have any kind of insider knowledge or essay other than holy cow, wow. So we'll just move on to channel news and we'll get to that later. See what's going on in World of Tanks, the game we like to play, despite all the troubles. The time of the troubles, that's what I'm coining it as. Look at this. I am almost done with the IS-32, which means I am almost done with the grind for the Russian double barrel tanks, which was a bit of a short grind because, well, there's only two of them to grind. I mean, ultimately, unless you count the KV-3 to get the IS-2 to the ballerina. So you're going to grind the 8, you're going to grind the 9, and then when you unlock the 10, there's nothing to grind, and it's pretty much over. But I did the IS-2 I let you guys know about that last week. I ended up with 56%. And statistics-wise, 968 on the experience and averaged 1761, which was acceptable and right in the range of about a 55% win rate for most of my tanks. But this, wow, this one is been fascinating to me because I'm trying to figure out why I can't win in it, and I think I have some answers because it was bothering me quite a bit. It was bothering me quite a bit that I was doing so poorly in this, yet my numbers looked reasonable. So check this out. And here's what I came down to. I'll get to in just a second, but check this out. 70 battles. Oh, by the way, only 70 battles to unlock everything and have 200,000 experience built up on it. That's incredible. Those are all those times fives that you could get for all of the missions we have. Those are the personal reserves. Those are the clan reserves. Those are the bonuses for platooning and experience. All the things that you can do to get extra experience along the way, plus specials, ends up being 70 battles in a tier 9. Just about. I'll probably take me another 2, provided I get at least one win in there, because wins are getting about 10,000 with the times fives and my bonuses. Holy cow. So that's crazy. But check this out. 70 battles, 41% win rate. It was sub 40 until the last 4 or 5 games when I won like 3 in a row. Sub 40, guys. I'm telling you. Hovering at 36 to 38%. Holy cow. That blew my mind. So, and I kind of noticed it around 40 battles, and I went, okay, 40%, 38%. I'll probably be at 50 by the time I'm done. I need a surge to get to 50, folks, at this point, which probably isn't going to happen because I'm going to play it 2 or 3 more times, unlock the next one, and I'll probably set it aside for a while. And so I will have a tier 9 heavy tank that I've played 75 times with a sub 50 win rate. That's unbelievable. So I looked at this and went, all right, well, 1.66 damage ratio is not bad. It's not great, but not bad. 1.84 destruction is interesting. 0.63 armor, and I went, okay, reasonable. 2,500 damage, 1,500 received, and 585 assist. None of those look awful, and they certainly do not support, in my mind, a 41.43 win rate, except for one thing. Because then I started looking at the other Russian tanks that I have, and I went, all right, well, that's odd. Why is it so bad? In fact, I was above 1,000 experience for quite a long time. And 965 is really good, actually, for only having a 41% win rate. You know what I'm saying? If I had a 60% win rate or 65 like the 705, I would have a much higher, probably higher than the 705. But check this out. The ST1 I played 139 times, and I have a 63% win rate with 1,000. I'm doing 2,400. That's less. 65% in the 705, I'm doing 2,600. That's slightly more, but not that much. However, look at the number that's really the difference here. Destruction ratio. The damage ratios are all very similar. There's two numbers that are significant here. Damage or destruction ratio, which is the number of times enemy vehicles I've destroyed and the times I was destroyed. The ratio between those. So very high in the ST1 at 2.63. Even higher in the 705. Hard to kill. Now, I haven't mentioned it yet, but look at the armor use efficiency 1.0, ST1 1.0, 257, close to 1.0 with a 3.31 destruction and 2,400 average damage. See how these numbers are very interestingly and closely related? Now look at the T10 at 56% and a lower experience rate, right? Slightly higher on the damage, but look at its armor use efficiency, although I have managed a better destruction ratio. Survived 30%. 705 survived 50%. SE1 survived 48%. T10 survived 47%. I'm dying, fellas, too much. I'm dying too much. I'm not sticking around. I'm getting the same amount of damage, probably in less time, because of its ability to throw damage downrange. But its staying power for a heavy at tier 9 is not great. 60 or 30% survived. Only 0.63 armor use. The armor, when you have a 0.5 or so armor use efficiency, that means it's very situational. That means the armor is very situational. So there you have it. That is the key reason for my 41% win rate that I can see in these numbers. Also, probably tying into it, not really playing the double-barreled tank quite right, being a little over-aggressive, or maybe a lot over-aggressive considering a 30% survival rate. Trying to get up into the front and heavy tank when it's not really, even though it sort of looks like one a heavy tank. It suffers from the tier 8 hull being drug up to tier 9, where it is just not effective. And the turret is good, but not amazing. So those two things, yes, it can dish out the pain, but its staying power is not great. So I just thought those were interesting. You guys might be interested in those numbers right there, because it took me a little while to kind of sort out. I was just bothered. I'm like, why am I doing so poorly in this thing? The stats do not support only a 41% win rate. Now, low sample size. We always got to say that. 70 is starting to creep up, though. Around 200, I would expect, I think, if I kept those numbers, or maybe even improved them slightly, I could probably get it back up to around 55. But it would require a little bit of heroics, though, over 130 more battles. It really would. And being very careful and trying to play this thing exactly right. So it is a situational tank. It does have some amazing capabilities with the double tap. It can throw some punishing damage downrange. But staying power is a problem with this thing, and its ability to get around. It's not a snail, but it's not great. Also, I played it stock for a while, so that I did suffer a little bit on that case. That hurt me on the IS-2 too as well. But you can see I got it up to 156 pretty quickly. So I think at tier the IS-2 is quite good. The IS-2-3 is mediocre at tier. And that's just the quick opinion right now. All right, so I'm almost done with that. This is a lot of channel news. Excuse me. I am done with Dynasty Wars, sort of. What I mean by that is I have all my season's rewards, but I've also got all of the team rewards because I've got the level 10, get the big X right there. You can see that it's still counting, though. You can do this 3 times. You can get up, I'm at level 10, you can get to level 30. The only thing you're going to get out of that is, remember that little button there? You're going to get 50 bonds every level. So there are another 1,000 bonds available if you get all the way to level 30 by the end of the event. So every time you level up again, you're going to get 50 bonds plus whatever the credits or extra gifts and stuff were. I do not have the team captain yet because that is not going to come until the end. And more than likely, Team Dragon is going to win that. Although I don't know if there's any... I don't know. It doesn't look like you can really figure out where Team Tiger is. There probably is somewhere. I don't know where it is, though. All right, so that's where I am on Dynasty Wars. You can keep on trucking is the point with that. My next stream should be tomorrow, the February the 10th on Monday. Planning 0900 to 1200. So we'll mess around. I'm not really sure. I'll be finished with this, so I might feature the tier 10 a little bit. But otherwise, we'll just do requests, things like that. In fact, you know what? We will plan on doing some subscriber, follower, viewer platoons. How about doing that? We will goof around in platoons, have a chat in Discord, and we'll go that way. How about that? That sounds like fun. We'll do that. I'll just keep saying it. We'll do that. All right, let's move on to missions and specials. It's time to shill. Time to chill. Shill, 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 shill. Here we go. Well, there doesn't appear to be a mission this weekend or any special. I guess Dynasty Wars is the thing, the Dynasty Wars. So there's no extra times 3 or 4 or 5. Just Dynasty Wars and the black market. We will get to you, black market, later, Mr. Scowling Guy. Don't look at me like that. If anything, I should be looking at you like that. Okay, he's just sitting there glaring at us, isn't he? Tank University missions, that is a code, guys. We are on to the medium missions. Make sure you go in there and activate your code. This is pretty cool. Earn 1,000 base XP in battle. Wow. Wow, that's a lot. Destroy a tank destroyer. Okay, pretty easy. Tank destroyer or medium tank. Deal 1,000 damage and survive. Also survive on this one, unfortunately, and survive. Okay. Final exam. Earn 50,000 base XP in any number. Wow. Not 1,000's a lot, guys. That's actually that's not that easy. All right, so there is that. There is that. Dawn Industry is coming. We'll talk about common tests later. Dynasty Wars is here. The on track for the 110E3 is also a code, I believe. Yep. So put your code in. Remember, if you're going to do the 110E3, that's actually a pretty good line. Pretty good line. There are special bundles. Faster, tanker, fire, fire. I guess that's the special. I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to touch on back here. No, these were pretty cool, actually. I don't know if you noticed this, but these are, I think that's the winner. Or is this an announcement? Nope, this is the winner. So I think that was the winner. Looks like a pencil drawing to me. Is that a bat chat? Some kind of thing? ELC, AMX, something or other. That's a pretty good Ferdy model, man. Holy cow. And we got a Panther. This was cool. I saw this one a while ago. A wood panther. That's pretty amazing. Really cool. This is this one's made out of pasta. It's an FV out of pasta. That's actually pretty funny. I can't tell if this is a digital, if this is actually a miniature with digital stuff mixed into it, or if it's actually just a digital picture, but it's kind of cool. RHM, somebody made a model of. Someone's very seriously into modeling. Look at all that stuff back there. And I like this one. Captain America shields. This is, I believe, a Lego Sturv. That's what it looks like to me. Some kind of kit like that, anyway. The Halo. I saw this one earlier as well. I think some leopards, potentially. There's an IS-7 busting through the gloom. I liked this one. I thought this was a really good. This is a painting. Pretty cool. Although, oh, I see he's firing that way. I thought he was looking over his shoulder and firing. The aspect of that was a little bit weird. That's cool. What else we got? The last but not least, the Christmas tank. Very creative. All right. That was just kind of a sidebar right there, guys. Just kind of a sidebar. What else we got going? That's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the missions and specials in the UI. Oh, wait a minute. Let's not do that. Let's go to... Just remember that tank rewards is still going on, guys. I am currently getting up to tier 4. We'll look at those points again. I talked about that last week. Pretty easy if you've got the veteran thing going on. Everyone else is probably going to have roughly half those numbers. Maybe be around 1,500 if you're really being diligent about getting all the different points. But what's interesting about trying to get all the points for this is that's working against you on Dynasty Wars, especially if your play period is in the afternoon when Dynasty Wars is going on. You're probably concentrating on tier 10s, trying to get that done, and that's hurting you a little bit on this one. But I think in general, if you're just getting the 100 a day plus a few extra here and there, you're eventually going to get to your 3,000 fairly easily. I'm going to get there very easily because of the veteran thing going on right there. All right. That is all I wanted to do there. Let's go into the... All right, we already showed it a little bit. We got the Dynasty Wars thing going on. We'll come over here to missions. Yep, there's the Dynasty Wars. They've been reset. Remember, they don't start till, 2 Central, something like that. You can see that I've got all the season rewards completed. That was quite a few bonds. That's brought me up to 20,000 bonds. That means basically Dynasty Wars got me my 121 Bravo. So I'm going to wait. I would suggest you do this. I don't think they're going to sell anything for bonds, but you never know. The way this has gone, anything could happen. Anything could happen in this particular black market. So far, none of it really good, but anyway, I'm going to save those to the end of the black market, and then I'm going to pull the trigger on the 121 Bravo. So cool. Dynasty Wars got me a 121 Bravo. Mike is going on. There should be one more, right? And no, it is February. Was that the last one? I think March. I think there's one more. One more Twitch care package. Tournament missions, pretty standard. Watt Salute, still ongoing till April. That's right, April 1st. It looks like they're going to end that. These are the tank rewards. Those are the things I was just talking about, how you get the tickets for that. There's the Watt Salute, and 100 for the veteran, 100 for just playing. And then the rest of them are tier-based, more or less. 110E3 is on track. We talked about that. There's the semester stuff for the medium tanks. You can track your progress right there. Oh, it does say survive. I was about to cry about how this doesn't say survive, but it does. All right, so that's pretty good. Those cards look to be pretty self-explanatory. Here's your ×5s. I don't know if you know. You can track them here. I thought this, you have to click on this to find how many you have left. I guess you do. I have 13 left. Why is it not right there? We have beat that dead horse, but that kind of information should not require a click to find out. It should be on the outside card somewhere. Just, there you go. Less clicking is better. All right, Dynasty Wars, Tank Rewards, University missions for mediums. That's what I wanted to cover there. Let's move on to subjects du jour, because this is where the this is where the fun begins. The time of the troubles. All right, that's what we're in right now. And I almost got in trouble for not shilling properly because I didn't talk about what you need to buy today. I got accused of that. Who were we talking to? There was wasn't necessarily me, but the CC's got accused of that once again down in the forums. I don't remember which forum. I looked for it and couldn't find it, but the guy was very salty that we were all shills. So let me just make sure that I continue the tradition of the CC shill. The New Year thing is still going on. You can't get the points in the game as far as earning them on missions, but you can still buy the tickets, the lunar tickets or whatever they're called, and get the items. So I don't know. I couldn't really find... I went back to the site, and it didn't necessarily say how long it would go. I'm sure it's on there somewhere. I don't remember. But anyway, it appears to be going for now. You can still get metal, fire, wood, blah, blah, blah. And that the prototype, the rack, the TS5, the Suma, and the metal. These are all actually... all of those are good. This is a very good casemate TD, such as casemate TDs are. This is probably one of the best, if not, in a lot of people's opinion, the best Tier 8 premium light tank. The Suma is a solid auto-loading heavy. It's an interesting tank. The rack is a very good medium, and the prototype is a good, not amazing, heavy tier 8. So those are all, as far as the tanks go, nothing wrong with those tanks. I think I've seen this in the past, but I don't remember how prominent it was. However, here's a bunch of ×5s that you can buy. Quite valuable if you're trying to grind. Get 25 of them for 10. That seems reasonable. 100 of them for 40 bucks. I don't know. You can earn a lot of these ×5s, but they've monetized them. Like I said, I think I've seen them in the past. I don't really remember, but there you go. If you're looking for speeding up your grind for some reason, there's another way to do it. All right, other than buying personal reserves, you can just get a straight up ×5 to your experience. Pretty good deal. Remember that that's after the first times whatever, and they are active. It's not like you can assign them to a tank. That would be good. So if you buy those, you're going to have to play that tank exclusively, or at least shield it by playing ×2s, ×3, ×5, whatever the daily is, only on other tanks. Because if you play the next game after the daily times whatever it is, it's going to burn one of those things. So as far as I can tell, you cannot assign it to anything. Watch out for that. I burned quite a few ×5s by making that mistake along the way. And again, I don't have anything to grind really other than this line, so I've been pretty good this time, but in the past I've just burned them because it just didn't matter. Would be nice if somewhere in the UI, right before you played that tank, you could go use ×5. You know what I mean? Use that for this game if we win. The the KV-220-2 is out. There's a big war chest involved. Wonder, are there any of those crews with these? No, just a standard 100% crew. So that's there. We've got gold. There's nothing really to add there. This is all pretty standard. There are some discounts on some of the smaller gold packages. Oh, it looks like a discount on one of the bigger ones. Oh, there's that Gotta Go Fast. I didn't notice that it wasn't actually a package. There you go. Where's the fire? No idea. Gotta Go Fast. Well, what do we get, guys? I didn't really look at this before. What are we getting for 50 bucks, 7,500 gold, 30 days, 5 garage slots. Interesting. 75 ×5s. Wow. If you consider, wasn't it 40 bucks for 100? Now, that's their monetization scheme for ×5. Do I consider them worth 10 bucks every 25? I don't know. That is up to you 100%. However, considering what they say they're worth, that is a pretty good package right there. And this is interesting, I think, from a monetization standpoint, how they do this, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you've got a package that's, you get 25 for 10 bucks, and you can get 100 for 100 bucks, and that's what they say that's worth. But then they get this package, and they give you 30 days and 7,500 gold, which I think is probably a pretty good deal, close to a pretty good deal at 50 bucks anyway. Then they just chuck these 75 on top, which in theory is another $30 worth of content. But is it really? I mean, is it really? Because then there's also 5 garage slots, 20 personal reserves. These are the credits personal reserves. It's interesting, isn't it? Because it really boils down to what it's worth to you. Because it is hard for me to take seriously a lot of the monetization for these very strange, not strange, but kind of not esoteric, kind of I'm gonna say nebulous value. You know what I'm saying? It's the company says they're worth this, but are they really? You know what I'm saying? And ultimately it comes to you, because we can look at a tank and go, well, all the heavy tanks are around 50 bucks. All the medium tanks are at tier 8. All the medium tanks are around 40 bucks. All the TDs are around 40 bucks. That's kind of I was going to say a physical thing, but even though it's not, it's digital. This is all digital. But at least the tank you can continue to drive around. These are things you use up and they go away, right? Obviously the tanks will go away when the game goes away, noted. So it's interesting. These are not as permanent, I suppose, these 75 and 20. So what are they really worth in real world money? I don't know. That's up to you. But if you look at what they say it's worth, these things, and you add them together, it ends up being a pretty decent deal. So Gotta Go Fast is obviously grinding fast. There's a lot of good things to get credits and move along on your grind. That is not a bad deal, actually, as far as if you were just new to the game and you wanted something to just kind of crank up your to beef up your grind, that's a really good way to do it right there. And you can add, so I can actually add another. So I can add another what, 10% off and bring it down to 44 bucks. There you go. Pretty cool. All right. That was a good shilling, man. I bet I sold some of those right there. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't sell shit there, did I? Anyway, sorry. Oops. All right. Valentine. Nothing else to add there. Vehicles wise, I think we covered all the vehicles. The only interesting, there's a couple interesting ones, not the only. The 220 is out there. It's a power creep that used to be a beast. It's interesting, I guess, a bit of a gimmick tank because it's got really great hull armor and terrible turret armor, which is a bit of a difference a lot of times at that tier. But the one I wanted to throw out there is this little guy, the ELC Even 90. If you're any kind of light tank player, give this thing a look. It's only 26 bucks. Can I put a? No, I cannot put. It's already discounted, so I cannot put a coupon on it, and it's exclusive to me. So there's something along the way. I don't know if it was Twitch or what it was. Maybe you don't see it, but if it's in your possibilities there, I would recommend you take a look at it because it's a fun little tank. It is really a lot of fun. The rest of them's pretty standard. The 244 is out. If you missed that one, it's still around in the shop here. You got special offers and exclusive offers and all kinds of stuff. And that's really all I've got to add there. I don't think there's much else to. There's the Gotta Go Fast again. There's your times fives. Yeah, 40 bucks for 100 of them. So what is that? 7,500 in 30 days. Hold on, let's check this out. What is 7,500 worth? I'm going to do this real time. A professional would have already done it. I am not a professional. There you go. 7,500 gold is already 33 bucks. And premium account for 30 days is 12 bucks. So there's Math in Public, 45 or so, already approaching the cost. Consider the coupon thrown on top. And then those other things. So another 30 bucks. Another 30 bucks for the time for the 75. Yeah. So that's how they get their original cost of 89 whatever. If you were to buy all those things separately. Every now and again you get really good deals out of these guys. You got 5 garage slots, they're only going to be what, $4 or whatever. Cool. Wow, that was some good shilling. Good shilling. Let's move on to subjects du jour. For reals. It's for reals. Trouble. Oh, Wargaming, what hath thou wrought amongst your faithful? There. Oh man, I'm trying to switch something. Hold on. Like I said, a professional would have had all this stuff sorted out. Here we go. Oh. Gotta get the camera. I think I'm a little offset here. Oh yeah, that's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. Trouble. I'm gonna need more coffee. I'm not feeling great either. So the coffee has really improved my attitude, improved how I feel right now. You get old, words they fly away. They're like little butterflies. You're trying to think of a word and you're like, oh, where's that word? Oh, little butterfly. I can't even remember. Then you forget it's called a butterfly and you call it something else. Schmetterling, something like that. Oh, off. Another tangent. We've gone on a tangent. What did I pick up? What have you guys picked up? What did you get so far from the black market? I like the black market idea. I like being able to get different kinds of tanks. I don't particularly like the false scarcity or as much of the false scarcity that they put in. I say false because they have complete control of it, not that scarcity is a false idea. All right? It is an idea. It's a thing. Companies probably don't want to flood their servers with every kind of whatever tank, but a lot of times the numbers they put out there are kind of silly. In the case of the Type 59G, which by the way showed up, we'll talk about that a little while later. It got really interesting. What did I pick up though? The Su-76i, you can see it right there. Funny story about that. We'll get to it. The Chrysler GF. By the way, yes, I did pay 15,000 gold for the Su-76i for two reasons. Number one, I had it, and it was basically a gift from Wargaming. Number two, it's going to sound kind of cheesy, but I just wanted one less of these things on the server at Tier 3, kicking the teeth in of brand new players. I played it once. I'll probably never play it again. Maybe once or twice more or something. I don't know. I didn't do particularly well in it. I sort of just drove forward and said, is this the dominant beast of Doom? Well, yeah, it is if you hide out in the back. But I went to the front, and it got pretty well shredded. We ended up winning. But I did 100 damage. I don't know what it was. That wasn't much. Maybe slightly more. But yeah, 15,000. The Chrysler GF I got, I bid 7.5 million. Why? Because I had it, and I actually wanted that one. So I figured that was pretty high for a bid, and I ended up getting it, and that was great. I'd only driven the rental. It's one of the few premiums at Tier 8 that I don't have, or at least have one example of. For example, I have both the T34 and the T34B. I have both the IS-6B and the IS-6, but I didn't have the Chrysler GF or the Chrysler K. I didn't have either one of them, so I ended up picking up the GF. I bid on the Type 59. I bid 25,100 gold. Probably not even close. I was looking on one of the blogs. They figured I want to say, what was the bid? I want to say, I can't remember. We'll look at it a little while later. I was going to say something like 70-something thousand on EU and 26,000 on RU. I don't know how they figured that out. We may touch on that, but in any event, it was a lot. Interesting that the servers are very different. I would be very curious what the average bid on NA was. So if you bid on one and got it, let me know down there. There's probably going to be some information in the forum as well later today as people start discussing what they bid. There were only 300 of those. There were only 300 of those. We'll get into the shenanigans in just a second on how all of that kind of went down because it was a lot. Okay. Let me give you really quickly, we're going to talk about Dynasty Wars. No, we'll just go to the struggles. I'll do the Dynasty Wars thing later. We'll do it after this. We're going to talk about the ship show. We're going to talk about the ship show that was Dynasty Wars launch and the black market. And this really goes back, to me, really the start of all this, latest iteration of missteps, let's put it that way, was probably Halloween, don't you think? I think it was Halloween. The failure to launch of Halloween, and it's really been a bit of a rolling time of trouble since then. But the latest iterations, and I don't know if all of you are aware of all the stuff here, probably, but goodness gracious, Dynasty Wars didn't launch, right? Had some kind of trouble with Dynasty Wars, didn't launch. That was a big problem. Finally, we get it going. There's still people apparently struggling with even signing up or couldn't sign up. I don't know what the end result of all that, but there was some chatter as well of, hey, I still can't sign up for my team on Dynasty Wars, even when it was supposedly still open for sign up. So that's a mess. That's going on. I haven't seen any compensation for that. I'm going to sidebar this just for a second. I only mention compensation because that's always a subject that everybody brings up. I'm not a big one for, the second something little goes wrong, I start screaming compensation. That is purely a customer relations thing for Wargaming, but it's probably not a bad idea in these cases based on how poorly some of these things have launched. We'll see what happens. I haven't heard of anything that's going to be compensation. You can just drop another 20,000 bonds in my account there, Wargaming, that'll be fine. I don't know. So I have no essay for you guys on compensation, and I'm not a giant compensation person. However, I would say in this case, they probably need to sort something out. We'll see what happens. So far, nothing. So Dynasty Wars failure to launch, and then we get to the black market, which failure to launch on NA. There's a lot of reach back. There's a lot of control from the mothership on launching these things. They set the times so that it would be common time across all of the servers, which gave us kind of a crappy time of 10 in the morning and 10 at night. I don't know what that did for Europe and Russia. I'm assuming, well, if it's 10 here, we got, is it 6 hours right now? That's pretty early in the morning, actually. over there? Huh. Don't know. That's very strange. Sorry, later. No, that's later in the day. My brain is not working correctly. So that's about 4 in the afternoon in Britain, I want to say. 3 or 4, 5. And a little bit so later in the afternoon for Russia, which gives them a nice morning, right? So it's all built around the RU cluster having the best times, and the rest of us eat crap from there. All right, got it. They wanted it all to be the same. That's the big mothership, noted. But that reach back thing is kind of boning us, because every time there's a trouble, it's at the end of the whip, and that's us. So that failed to launch. We have a problem with both Dynasty Wars launching. We have a problem with the black market launching. And then when it launches, when it finally launches, they say, all right, we'll just offset you. At which point we went, hey, that's actually a pretty good deal. We'll get 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock works for us. Thanks for the thought. And then about a day and a half later, they're like, no, all right, we're going to shift you back onto the time with everyone else. We don't like you having SA on what's coming up. Who effing cares? Seriously, what does that have to do with anything? It actually exposes the stupidity of the one-time thing anyway. The whole thing, if you want your Russians to know what's coming up, and it's unfair that Europe and NA finds out about pixel goods, you know what we need? Somebody needs to make a meme of this with that laughing guy, the Latino laughing guy, that's just laughing so hard. They did that to Artie. Someone needs to make a meme about this, because that's what I feel like right now. If you're so worried about that, then give us the thing first, and then have it roll that way, so that the Russian cluster gets it. You know, every other time you do something like this, switch it out a little bit. Let somebody be first, and then everybody else gets to know. Who cares? But anyway, that's what they're all worried about and they want. So they shift it back to the same time. But not only do they do that, I don't know if you noticed this, but so we were at 6, and there was a communication that said, all right, you're going to get one at 6 a.m. where we shifted you to, and then in order to realign you, we're going to give you another offer 4 hours later at 10. That was the timing for me on Central, okay? I realize it was different time for everybody else. So I'm just talking, so I keep the numbers straight for the Central time period where I am. And I went, oh, that's cool. We'll have one at 6. We'll get another one at 10. Then we'll be realigned and whatever. 10 sucks, but there you go. They couldn't even do that. 10 rolled around. Cricketsville. Now, see, here's how confused I am. Did we lose an offer somewhere in there? I don't remember if did they fix that? See, I'm so confused now because I sat down trying to remember how all this went down, and it was so goobered up that even someone like me who's paying attention is having a hard time keeping it straight what the actual F has happened here. So I called it the Time Switch-a-Palooza. Time Switch-a-Palooza. Now, that's not even the end of it, right? That's not even really the best part of it, because the absolute best part of it was this tank. Because, let me just do a slight sidebar, because there's something I don't understand from what is going on with the control by Minsk and the cascade of the offers on the servers. We just didn't even see this tank. It just didn't happen. What had happened on the RU and I think the EU server cluster, which in theory these are all supposed to happen at the same time, there must be a very slightly earlier drop on the Russian server, because somebody is also getting information 5 minutes before they drop. That's going into common chat. It's going into people's Discord. There's people with SA about 5 minutes before. All of a sudden, somebody's got SA on what it is. You can find out about 5 minutes before. So I don't know if the RU cluster is simply dropping slightly earlier, because what happened is they intended to sell the Su-76I, but what showed up in the black market was the Su-76 GFT, which I think is a Tier 4 Wait for it, a Tier 4 tech tree tank for 15,000 gold. And a lot of people pulled the trigger. I think they maybe assumed it was this tank. They probably had that early SA, somebody, that already come out. As soon as it showed up, the click fest began. Get it, get it, get it, get it. And then they went, holy crap, I just bought a 76 GFT for for 15,000 gold. Now, ultimately, they got their Su-76i. I think when it went back to went to the purchase page, it said 76i. I don't think the 76 GFT ever showed up in their account, but I'm not sure on that. I do know that they pulled the trigger on a Su-76 GFT for 15,000 gold. Oh, trouble. Now, that's not really the end of it either, because they sold. There is some speculation that they really effed up on the numbers for the prices, because the LEF was actually one of the earlier offers. Do you know what that sold for? The LEF, which is a very sought after, granted, much more proliferated premium tank, because they've given away in boxes several times. I think they've even sold it fairly recently, but they've definitely given it away. There's a lot of them out there. 300 gold. I feel like they forgot a zero. Based on the pricing conventions. Or maybe they added a zero by accident to the Su-76i. I don't know. Maybe it was only supposed to be 1,500. The pricing conventions are completely out of whack. Anyway, the Su-76i is very much rare, so maybe they decided whatever. 15,000 if you want this bad boy. Which now brings us to the Type 59G, which has just been offered and probably went for, if I'm guessing, north of 50,000 gold on NA easily. There were only 300 of them. I bid 25,100, didn't get it. Gold's back in my account. I kind of gave a low ball on that just for Gee Whiz. I didn't buy it last time or attempt to click it last time based on I have a 59 and I thought I'd just let other people have a shot at it. This time it was coming out again. I went, whatever, I'm gonna bid 25,000. I'm pretty sure I won't get it. If it's still around 25,000 and I get it, then it means that there weren't a lot of people that wanted it. Well, clearly a lot of people wanted it. That was my own rationalizations, as bad as they are. I'll just throw that out. I'm just trying to make myself look better. Yeah. So that happened, right? Wow. My head is still reeling from just the whole way it was done, what happened, and I will tell you that the customer guys at WGNA are they are how do I put this? Stressed. I'm just gonna say that they are at the end of the whip, right? They don't control anything. They are in reaction mode. They are taking a pummeling from the player base because they are the player-facing people at the company, and they have zero control, and they are the redheaded stepchild. So there you have it. Don't get mad at them. It wasn't their fault, as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure Cabbage and Domo did not flip the wrong switch. Somebody else did back at the home drum. All they do is try damage control. I would not want their job right now based on all of this, as far as being the player-facing guys, the customer service guys, the community management team right now for World of Tanks, because there is a little bit of angst out and about in the player base. I don't know what to say about it, to be honest. It's hard to it's hard to defend, and it doesn't deserve defending because of what a disaster the whole thing has been. Is it something to get out the pitchforks and quit the game, blah blah blah? No, nothing like that ever really has been. You know, I've seen a couple of videos and people kind of going absolutely ape crap crazy about it, but and, you know, I have come down hard on it right here myself. I just find it's more amusing, like, holy cow, how in this modern age, with the kind of communication we have in the interwebs, the World Wide Webernet. How do we get to that? Well, communication and humans. That's how. It sometimes when you are on autopilot and things are working pretty well for a while as far as getting a system down and releases and doing things, sometimes somebody takes their hand off the till for a little bit and it starts to snowball and we end up here where you can't even launch an event right. And it's something that should be so easy becomes so hard. And now we've got to reconnect all of those synapses again, hopefully with some improvements so that kind of thing doesn't go on. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I thought the pricing conventions were weird. Obviously, the release stuff, the communication was relatively poor. But I will say one thing. I did watch a couple videos on people going crazy about the communication. And while I do agree in principle on that, that was such a fast-moving ball game. There was no way to get the information out to everybody in the hour that a lot of this stuff went down for this, especially for the Su-76I thing. People are like, oh, no one told me. Blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, I mean, were you sitting in Discord? They only have so many ways to talk to you, and they're not going to give you a phone call. So, as far as I know, ESP, that none of them there are able to send a direct message into your brain. The reason I got the Su-76I, the only reason, is I was actually streaming that day. And somebody mentioned that it was up, and I went, oh crap, and I went back over, and I was able to grab one. A lot of people didn't even know because it just kind of randomly came back up after the failure to launch. And that's where a lot of the, oh, they didn't communicate with me, angst comes from. And I'm kind of thinking, well, that probably wasn't going to happen, dude. The only way that would have happened is if they'd have said, all right, 12 hours from now, there's going to be the release of this Su-76I. And it was such a pickup game at that point, that simply was not going to happen. They just had to make the best of what was going on. That is not an excuse from me. I'm just telling you how it is, man. Having worked in large organizations and attempted damage control on stupidity that happens along the way. All right, so there you go. There's the black market ship show. The struggles. This is the time of struggles. The time switch of Palooza. Oh, man. That was crazy. That was crazy. All right, what else did we want to talk about? Oh, I remember. We got some new premiums coming, guys. Check this out. Check this out. As soon as I figure out how to get to where I want to go to, there we go. The UDES 03 Alt 3, I think, is going to be a premium tier 8, or this may be a 9. There's a couple 9s in the works, guys. This is one of the 9s. So that might be a reward tank, potentially. We have another IS-2. Oh, lordy. The shielded. Whatever. There's another IS coming. Great. The Batchat Bourrasque. Tier 8. Looks like a Tier 8 premium, I would imagine. There's some information on the Su-76I fiasco. That probably has all the timing that's a little bit better than my memory because there was so much going on. There are some April Fool's tank skins. I don't know if they're going to be sold or rewards. There's a little cat looking out a hole right there. Ha ha. And that's that. All right. That's what I wanted to talk about with the premiums. Guess what? Oh, I did forget about one thing for the time of troubles, right? I did forget to mention one thing for the time of troubles, and that was the server lag. What the heck was going on with that? Was that simply the number of people trying to play at that particular time, trying to play Dynasty Wars? And are our servers that close to the edge of performance that a small bulge in population crushes the server like that? Dude, I hope not, man. I hope not. Because otherwise, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why. It was probably the worst I'd ever seen. And it was definitely not me. It wasn't my internet. Everything on mine was going on. I know you guys saw the same thing. It was all over the forums. I think they even admitted to that they were working on it. They actually pushed a patch. So I don't know if that was a software-driven thing or a hardware-driven thing based on the number of people who showed up for Dynasty Wars. I don't know. What do you guys think? There's probably people who are a lot smarter on the technical aspects of that. I'm just throwing spitballs out there because I don't know what was going on with that. All right, let's talk about 1.8 Common Test, or patch 1.8. All right, this comes off Rita's blog status report. There are a couple articles on several of the blogs talking about this. They're going to replace your reward for merit with daily quests, which I believe is kind of a standard thing for World of Warships. So they've ported that over, maybe even World of Warplanes, I'm not sure. And you're going to be able to do 3 missions, and you can re-roll one of your quests every 4 hours. So every day, 3 quests will be available with different levels of difficulty: easy, normal, and hard. The conditions are displayed in your garage. All quests can be performed simultaneously, and the number and value of rewards increase gradually along with the complexity. Kind of giving you a little bit more interaction on what quest you take and how it goes, but the rewards are going to be the standard stuff. Bonds, credits, free XP, blueprints, garage slot, demount. Blueprints I could care less about because I've unlocked everything, but I am an unusual bird in that respect, so that will be good for a lot of people. Free XP is good, credits is good, bonds is good, garage slot, fantastic. These are all great things, especially for a free-to-play player, because it does not say you have to be premium for this, so that's a good thing. So you're getting a little bit more control over your quests and missions. Just players with a Watt premium receiving... Oh, look at this. Well, there you go. There's the bonus for having premium. 1 extra point for completing each of the premium missions. Once you've earned a total of 45 points, you will receive 100 bonds and one of the following rewards: personal reserves, crew book, day of Watt premium. Well, there you go. Session statistics will finally have win percentage. I thought it had it. I thought it had a win percentage, but it just didn't have... No, it doesn't, does it? It just says number of wins, or number of games. Or is it just number of wins? Where is it? Well, I haven't played a game, so I can't see it. Victories. All it has is victories, but it doesn't do percentage. All right. So win percentage. Number of enemies spotted. Now display fun. Number of vehicles destroyed. Survival rate. Average tier. An options button will also be added so you can reconfigure this feature to your liking. All right. Select the statistics you want to focus on. That's not a lot of addition. I feel like they've left a lot off without even digging into it. It's already missing a lot of stuff. There's so much they could do with that. But all right, they're adding some capability into session statistics. Good on them. Because the Yazen Krazen, whatever it is, has always been superior to theirs. I just don't do the mods. So I miss the Yazen Krazen, whatever it is, session statistics, and I miss a little bit more zoom out. Those are the only 2 mods that I miss in the game. All the rest of them are pretty well done. Oh, and having three carousel levels as opposed to just 2. If they did those 3 things, made better session statistics, allowed us to zoom out slightly more in vanilla, and gave us three carousel levels, that would be awesome. Ranked battles is coming back pretty soon. I don't know if it has a time on this. They're just testing it right now. They're going to change some of the ways the points are done in there, by the way. So I will keep you apprised of that. I haven't dug into what the changes are, but they are going to change. We do have Clan Wars coming up, but I don't think that has anything to do with 1.8 necessarily. So you can get into the common test as well. There is an interesting... Here it is. Hey, you guys, you want the wheel tanks to get a buff? Oh, good, because they are. Slightly, but it's still a buff. Instead of balancing the wheel tank or nerfing, especially the 105, but all of them, instead of doing what needs to be done, they have decided to improve the maneuverability when driving in reverse. You just cannot make this up. There is no tone deaf. Completely and utterly tone deaf. Just doing whatever they want, man. Whoever is in charge of balance is simply creating the game they want to play. That has to be what's happening here. The balanced guys are just making the game they want to play, and they don't give two rats' asses about what the player base thinks. Because this is asinine. Basically, they're making it more maneuverable. Because darn it, people would get stuck in places. I'm just gonna let that go. I'm gonna let that percolate. Let's just let the EBR stupidity percolate a little bit more. Real seriously, guys. Yeah, buff them. You know, that's a good idea. Good. You know what? You're right. They need a buff. They're not good enough. So, good job. Good job. Daily and premium missions. Yep. Changes to rank. Changes in session. And added the falling vehicle, the Oods. So there you go. Patch 1.8. That's pretty hot on the heels of 1.71 or whatever we're on right now. What are we on? Thought I could see it somewhere. I don't know. Whatever we're on. Is it here? Now I'm curious. Now I feel... Uh-oh. What have I done? Oh, no, I don't want that. I almost purchased a garage slot. I mean, I do want one, but does this say what it is? 1712. There you go. I knew there was a place to find it. Back to game. All right. Phew. Getting tired, guys. I need some more coffee. I'm going to have to go make another coffee. I think we're about done here, though. I got the common test. I got the premiums. Oh, there's one last thing. Hold on. Go refresh your coffee. I'll be right back. All right. So last but not least, well, maybe last. There might be one other thing. Like I said, if I was professional, this would all be planned out, all right? But you got me. You're stuck with me. Unless you leave, and then you're not stuck with me. So, big changes coming on Monday. What? Big changes coming on Monday? No, it's not. It's not. It's not coming on Monday. But will be announced on Monday, and they're coming over the year. The track record of Wargaming delivering on all the things they say they'll do at the beginning of any one year is about 30%, I think, somewhere around there. So take this with a grain of salt. However, this has to do with, there's been a lot of chatter about, I think the biggest one is the ammo rework, but there's a lot of chatter about some other things as well. Monday, there's supposed to be a live stream announced. Not announced, not a live stream. There's going to be a video announced. It was announced on a live stream on Friday by Ikibu, I believe. He's an EU guy, I think. And on Monday, there's going to be a big announcement. So there's going to be some videos show up tomorrow. We'll check that out. Hopefully we'll talk about it during the stream. New balance update. There'll be videos on Monday. It's going to be a huge list of changes. Oh boy. Roughly 3 pages long. It's not going to be called Sandbox because it's going to be essentially all of the changes. They've been planning all this time to be released later this year. It's all going to be put in one test client and is basically the new game. Basically the new game on a separate client. Separate to test server and Sandbox. We now have a third test of some kind. Everybody can join, and Wargame hopes to get as many people on there to get as much feedback as possible so they can tweak stuff, or if it all fails, cut it like they did Rubicon. I don't know if you even want to invoke the name Rubicon. I feel like that's the evil overlord, the name whose name shall not be said. And all of a sudden now you've just added some bad karma to your new game. I don't think you should have said Rubicon. I think he's here. He's behind me, isn't he? Oh, man. How does that quote go? There's a quote. Basically, I'll paraphrase something to the effect of, when a large company meets big challenges, they always want to do a massive reorganization, which usually amounts to moving the chairs around on the deck of the Titanic. Maybe a bad saying or bringing up the Titanic because I'm not intending to make it sound like I think the game is sinking. That's not it at all. But holy cow. I am not a big fan of massive reorganizations because they cannot be controlled. The problem is we have punted on so many iterative adjustments that have been required in the game for so long that we get to this situation. And when I say we, it's not like I'm an employee. You know what I'm saying. I say this all the time. We, the game, the players, the developers, we who are involved in this World of Tanks project, either from the player side or their side. Not that we have control. It's just noting the passing scene from my chair. I don't know what to make of that, man. And I think I called it, right? I've said this multiple times, haven't I? That there seems to be a very large and relatively, at this point, in my opinion, disorganized attempt to change everything, to fix a lot of problems, to maybe make it, Tanks 2.0. We'll see. I hope it works. I hope what they have worked on is going to be a good thing. I don't really want to be their guinea pig. I just don't do test servers. If they want, here's the deal. For me to do a test server, you're going to need to pay me. And that's mercenary. That's being a mercenary a-hole. But I want to play your game, man. I do not want to be your play tester for free. Some people love that, and that's great. I have no problem with that. And a lot of people make their name that way because they're very good at design, or they're very good at picking apart games and figuring out all of the exploits and things, and companies leverage that. So in this case, they're not talking to me because I'm not interested. So that's not me saying they're dumb for doing it. It's a great idea for a company, absolutely. Personally, for me, I don't do that. And if you wanted me to, you'd have to pay me. At which point I would be very poor because no one would. I'm just throwing that out. I do not want to be a company's guinea pig to figure out if they've made a good move in a game. I think a lot of people do it because they just like gaming and games, and that's their thing. They just love it. They don't care if it's not the final iteration. They want to check out the new game, and that's cool because that's where we get a lot of this information from people. My problem with using that, though, to test balance is nobody ever plays on a test server like they would, like the standard one each from the wild game player would play it. It's never played that way. So they always miss things from a meta aspect. I know some of you hate that word, but they always miss things from meta aspect because it just doesn't happen on the test server. But once it gets released to the wild and you get the regular standard one each player playing it, holy cow, all kinds of other things start to get found. That is not an argument against doing precisely what they're doing, because you have to have somebody test it. But it is an argument to have expectation management and to not look at it and go, all right, perfect balance, we've done it, high five, release it, we're good. That's not how it works, boys. Because once you release it into the wild, that's where the iterative part comes on. That's where we have failed. There has simply not been any kind of fast enough, accurate enough, precise enough, iterative changes to the game. Too many things have been left to fester for too long, and now this is where we are. And I think a lot of it has to do with personalities, from what I can tell. People who basically believed their crap didn't stink, that believed they knew better than everyone else, that ignored, to a large extent, player input. We've talked about it before. The players don't run the place. Noted. There are plenty of bad player opinions. Not a bad player, but bad opinions by players. But it's a balance. And they've ignored so much for so long. That I think is readily apparent and fairly obvious. So here we are. Now we've got the giant New Balance update where there's a long list. It does, I think, revolve to a large extent around the ammo rebalance, but there's other things thrown out in there as well. Personally, what I would do rather than all that crap is I would try to sort out the ammo to pen balance by nerfing the piss out of gold ammo. It just shouldn't have that much more pen. If you nerfed the crud out of the pen of gold ammo and maybe even made it you may have to do this by tier, but made it a across the board standard percentage increase over the pen of the AP round or whatever the standard round is, just as a starting spitball to throw at it with maybe slight adjustments after that as you test and get data and figure it out. That might go a long way because it would make armor a little bit more relevant. It would make pressing 2 much less of a benefit or bonus. And I think that cascades into a lot of the rest of the game. But it looks like they're going to go after a lot of other things as well. So there you have it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. I know you guys, there's a lot of attitudes. Not a lot of attitudes, a lot of opinions. There's also a lot of attitudes. there's a lot of opinions by my subscribers and the people who watch the webisode. Trying to make it sound bigger than it is. It's a webisode. Watch these webisodes on Sunday. All right. I think we're done. Let me check on something. Hold on. Yeah, I found it finally. I just wanted to throw this out. Looks like about 60,000 for the Type 59G based on the forum chatter here. Somebody was saying about 60, so this guy asked Raptor Will. 40,000 failed. 60,100, he got one. 78,000, he got one. 48, none. 50, none. Then you got the people. Can we just do a sidebar on what something is worth to somebody, and if you think it's not, nobody cares, except maybe you. So it's pretty funny, the people coming on there and you're crazy. How can you spend that much money? Well, on another one I just read, the guy made a great point. He's like, here's the deal. That's a sunk cost. You've already paid the money for the gold. It's not like you're going to convert that gold back to cash. It's not you're not going to take that gold and go down to Walmart and get yourself a hairdryer and a microwave. You're not going to take that gold and do anything but buy something in World of Tanks or potentially World of Warplanes. I guess those cross still, right? So unless you spend it for something in the game, and at that point it's just what's the game item worth in the gold to me? You know what I mean? Yes, you can do that calculation and go, ooh, 60,000. I just spent $200 or whatever, $300 or whatever it is on a pixel tank. Oh no, well, dude, you actually already spent that money on the gold. So at that point, what are you doing with the gold? You can make that calculation over the year that, hey, I could use that 60,000 gold in dribs and drabs and doing all these other things in the game. Okay, fair enough. But really, that direct calculation of money, that ship sailed, brother. That ship is you can't even see it. It's over the horizon. He left, and your girlfriend was on it, and she's not coming back. she's gold plated. Anyway, there you go. That's all I've got. We are done with. Did I just yell into the mic? We are done with coffee talk for today, folks. You will see me tomorrow on stream, hopefully. Although I'm not feeling the greatest right now, so hopefully I don't come down with something. I might have to. Well, I was going to make a joke about the recent sickness, but it's still too soon, I think. So we won't joke about that because there's people. That's a bad situation, guys. It's definitely bad. All right, so, boy, that took a dark turn. I was just trying to be light and easy breezy, light and easy, and just say goodbye and have a good week. And then all of a sudden, it's the apocalypse. All right, that's all I've got, guys. We will see you. How do I turn this thing off?